Hey there. So I've been trying to solve a problem for quite a while now, and I felt it has been a little bit more challenging than I had initially anticipated. What I'm trying to do is have a common TypeScript library, which I can share between my TypeScript-based backend in Node.js and a TypeScript-based frontend that could be built using Vite or Webpack while maintaining hot reload functionality. Now, there are a couple of documented ways to kind of achieve this. One of the most popular ones being simply take this as an npm package and publish it to a private registry, and whenever you publish a new version of your package to the registry, you can run npm install on each of these projects which depend on it, and the code will be updated. Obviously, the downside over here is that the feedback loop is quite slow when you are developing, and you can kind of get around this using something like npm link, which sort of creates a symlink, but obviously that is quite hacky. The other method is trying to use TypeScript project references, and the downside here is it actually needs the library to be built, and then the consuming project actually uses the build code, which kind of creates a little bit of a complexity. It ends up being that sometimes it's not supported in all the build systems. So what I'm trying to achieve basically is to have my library written in TypeScript code without it having been built. The responsibility of building lies with the consuming project. So without further ado, let's jump right into the code. Alright, so what I have here is the code I would like to share, and how I have this set up is I have 4 projects, and each of them are added into VS Code as a workspace, which allows me to treat each of them as separate projects as well as separate Git repositories, so each one of them can be managed separately. So what I'm going to do first is that I am going to try to consume this this code over here from this project over here, right? And this is a very simple piece of code, which is basically just a function that runs, and it will console log the it looks like I made a mistake here. Let's just add this here, and it imports this from the common function. Right now, as you can see, it has no idea how it's supposed to work, and when we're gonna run it, it should throw one of these responses out. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just a basic TSC. Right, so TSC will try to build best effort what it can do without any help. And as you can see, it created this build file, and we're going to try to run this, and yeah, it has crashed. So let's see how we're going to try to make this work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to package.json, and we're going to tell it to import this package. So we're going to say we want to use common, and we want to use it as a file, right? And that file exists in one directory up, common. All right, and after this, we're gonna try to do an npm install. And as you can see, it added one package. So let's see here, right here we have common, and bought this code in. All right, so let's have a look here. It seems it still doesn't know how it's gonna build it, right? So let's actually sometimes I have to to just make sure, let's just make sure that this isn't like an issue with VS Code. Yeah, so indeed it is not picking it up yet. So the problem here is that in this package JSON, we haven't exactly told it what to pick up. Now obviously one of the ways to do this is actually have this built, and then point this package JSON to tell it what its main file is, right? And once you do, it will point to that build result. And the problem again will be that every time you want to use it, you'll have to make sure that your library has a built version of this. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to point it to the TypeScript files over here. So what's going to do is, once we do this, you see right away it picks it up. It knows which functions we're dealing with, and we can navigate to them right away. So let's try to build our server again and see what we have. No more errors. That's awesome. So we're gonna go here, and yeah, we didn't get any type errors, picks it up perfectly, and we're gonna do npm, we're gonna run it, and apparently it has fallen apart because well, it's throwing some sort of error here, that because the thing is, what we have just done is we have imported in raw TypeScript. So this is not a JS file, this is the TypeScript file, which means somehow this server needs to be aware how to actually build these TypeScript files and be able to use them so that the Node.js the runtime can actually run it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to build it in a different way, right? So we're, instead of tsc, let's delete this build. Instead of tsc, we're going to use esbuild for this, right? So the command for this, if you have npx esbuild, we then point it to the file that we would like to build, the entry point of it, and we would like to bundle it using basically as a node 16, and yeah, it will go to the out directory. Let's actually change this to build, and there we go. All right, so let's have a look. What do we have? So it looks like what it has done, it has taken all of the dependencies and it has actually built them in a way where it will be easy for Node.js to actually run it now. So we're not going to be facing that same problem as we were facing before. So let's try to run this now, and we get the string. Obviously I can so let's run this as like monitor it, right? So let's do npx nodemon .build index.js. so this will actually set up a monitor, so every time this file, the code here actually changes, like in this file, we can actually get something else here. So instead of this, let's actually get something else. So it's supposed to run this function this time, right? And I'm gonna save it, and here I get something else, right? But here's the interesting part, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the library that I'm working on, and I am gonna change something here. I'm gonna write hello world here and save it, and it actually updates the running server. So basically we have like a hot refresh and watch over here, while actually I'm working and changing my common library that is shared between this, and actually get the update happening over here in real time, right? And as you can see, the types and everything are here. Actually I added an interface here as well. I want to see if this actually works well as well. So I'm going to try to import the type of this interface from common, and it looks like it works perfectly. Great. So now let's repeat this process for the web apps, right? So let's go with Vite first, because Vite is actually doesn't really need any configuration as such for this to work. So we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna go here, and in the package JSON, actually let's run it without it first, right? So let's just go here and cd into this folder, which is ls cd web vite, okay, and npm run dev, and we get this showing up, right? So yeah, that's that. All right, so what we're gonna do is, so I already put some code in here that is supposed to pull in this and work, and let's just uncomment this. Oh, so it blew up. Obviously it's not going to work right now, so we're going to do npm install, right? And let's try to run it again, npm run dev. Looks like it has still blown up. Oh yeah, of course. It looks like I didn't add this here yet. Yeah, so we didn't add it here. So let's add this here. Let's run npm install again, and let's run npm run dev. Yeah, so as you can see, no more errors, types are coming in perfectly, functions are not complaining, and cool thing, we have the things just showing up here. Awesome, right? Again, even better is that we can do this. We can go to common again, source index. Let's hide this a little bit, and I can do like hey Vite, and then save, and this text just shows up here. Remove it. So yeah, hot reloading works here as well. All right, so next step, let's try to do this with Webpack. It's a little bit more trickier, especially with the Create React app actually. So let's just run this first. I am actually gonna do something which I think some people might not like. We'll actually have to sort of eject this. But I guess if you're trying to do something a bit more complex like this, you might have already ejected it. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to demonstrate is kind of how it's gonna work with Webpack as well. So yeah, it's just like a simple demo sort of thing, right? So let's just go here and run it first without it, right? So we're gonna do web cd cra web cd web cra npm run, what is it, dev start, no, yeah, npm run start. So we're gonna do npm run start, and yeah, it looks like I've already broken it because I've already put this code in place here. So let's just hide it, make sure that it's working without it first. Okay, and yeah, it looks like it's working without it just fine. And now let's add this code back in. Okay, let's repeat the same process here. Go in, package.json, get the common, put it into the dependencies. Okay, let's do npm install. Okay, and then npm run start, and most likely it's gonna blow up. It is gonna blow up. Yep, it has blown up. All right, and it did throw some, it did complain a bit before, like erroring out, like let's actually do something else, npm run build, so we can actually see what the errors were. So it's gonna try to create a production build for this. All right, so yeah, so basically it's complaining it's not able to parse this file, and so what we want to do, again, we have to remember that what we're pulling in is actually TypeScript, right? And because it's not built right now, we'll have to actually, let's see here, if you look at common, so common is basically, again, it's a TypeScript file, so, and Webpack is not configured to handle this, right? It only expects that the imports are going to be JS files, not TypeScript files. We need to tell it how to build it, right? So one thing I'm going to do is npm run eject. All right, awesome. Now it's ejected. Let's try to run it again. Most likely it's going to blow up. Yep, blows up again. Blows up. Yeah, that's the old one. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let's go to config, and in config we go to webpack config, and here there is a place where they build files from outside. So if you say files from outside, so process any JS files from outside with Babel. So we just need to tell Babel that it also please handle for us TypeScript files. Please also handle for us these TypeScript files, right? And when you handle these TypeScript files, please handle them using this Babel preset, right? So obviously we do need to install this Babel preset for this to work, and we're gonna do that right away. Let's actually do that. So we're gonna take the Babel preset TypeScript, the TypeScript preset, put it right here. All right, and let's do npm install. So let's kind of see where that was, right? So we put this right here, line 437 and line 450, basically, like around here, and we added ts so that it can handle TypeScript files and it knows how to actually build those files, right? So these are the two things we needed to do. So obviously, you know, if you don't do this, it will still read these files, but it cannot actually build them, right? So okay, and now let's try to start it. And there we go. Now we have this working in create React app, basically, right? And let's verify that our hot reload functionality still works. So we're gonna go in here, Webpack, okay, and then save, and then it shows up right here. So there we go. Basically that's kind of how to achieve this. Now let's just do a recap for everything that we sort of did here. So I'm gonna collapse all of these folders here, and we're just gonna go through them, and we're just gonna do a recap, basically, right? So this package over here, really simple. Okay, just a basic TypeScript project. Okay, and what we do here is, the thing that makes it work is that we point the package JSON. Inside the package JSON, we configure main and types as the same file over here, which is the index.ts over here. And in the index.ts, we export everything here. So for example, if you had a large library like all of your files scattered through this library. Okay, what you would do is you would export the things that you want to expose in this index file, and then point the index file to the main and the types over here, so that this will give like an indication of how to actually consume to the consuming projects, right? And in the server, what we did, we used this syntax over here to actually point to this node package over here. And what we did, especially just for the server, we didn't use TSC. Instead, we use esbuild, right? And I'm gonna post this in the description. So esbuild is one of the builders that you can use to compile JavaScript. It's actually used in rollup and Vite. And yeah, and what we did for something that was based on Vite, we actually didn't have to do anything much. We just simply added it here and it just sort of worked, which is awesome. No configuration needed whatsoever. With Create React App, we'd have to, no, so forget about Create React App. We're just trying to talk about Webpack here. Obviously, there are some problems. There are some challenges. I'm sure, like if you try to implement this in your own configuration, there might be some challenges, especially with regards to Webpack. But basically what we did here is we told Babel to handle those files. So in case an import comes in where it's not JavaScript, instead it's TypeScript, so it just knows how to build it, right? And yeah, that's that. I hope this was useful.